which is how you know it's important. Hi, Net and YouTube. Hello, Net and YouTube. Hi, everybody. I'm trying to say it like hello, Newman. Hello, Net and YouTube. But hi, everybody, for real. I'm trying to do a quick live because it's important. They've destroyed about half the White House. Now, they're probably destroying the whole thing. At first they said they weren't going to touch it. Then they said it was just the facade. Then they said it was just the East Wing. According to somebody's live I was just watching, he suggested that the manner of destroying the White House suggests they're going to destroy the whole thing. Now, can we save part of the White House before they destroy it all? Only by stopping Trump entirely. So it's going to be kind of a metaphor. The fact that he's been destroying the White House over a couple of days, like it's been a few days, and they didn't even let anybody see it for a while. Like it's just kind of hitting the news that they're destroying the White House. And this isn't they're not reporting the outcry. They're not reporting on the destruction of the White House. They're not really reporting the outcry. They're trying to downplay it and dampen it as much as possible because people will probably react strongly to them destroying the White House. Now, if they can keep people from reacting until it's done, it's very similar to their plan to genocide Gaza. If they could kill every single person, then their plan would be complete and there wouldn't be anything anybody could do to stop them or anybody to try to stop them for, except for stopping stopping them from killing the next group of people. But if you can stop them in the middle, then it really messes up their plan. So if we can stop them from destroying the White House before they completely destroy it, just like if we can stop them from genociding everybody in Gaza before they kill everybody, then it does ultimately backfire their plan. It spoils their plan. Sorry for spoiling your white supremacist party, but it's time to spoil their white supremacist party. Now, another piece of news I heard is the federalization of the elections, the idea that they're going to just take control of the elections and not let people win. That's not at all surprising or shocking to me. I mean, it's about a year away that we're going to have the election, so we have a year for them to either capture our elections and prevent us from ever being able to have democracy again, or to stop that. I'm going to go over their heads, yeah, they're going to take over the voting system potentially. They're going to run democracy so that we can't, do anything potentially. But we're going to take their churches. And I've been talking about this for years, but it's time to really start the process of helping Jesus replace their churches. So Jesus is the Jesus is the anti-king leader of the No Kings protest. There's an antichrist figure that they call Jesus, who they call the King of Kings. This antichrist Jesus is what leads to Trump and Putin and Netanyahu and all the other tyrants, Hitler, all of them. They're all because of antichrist Jesus. Okay? So just like, the Zionists know they need the support of the Christian nationalists or they don't exist. Okay, that's antichrist Jesus. Okay? Real Jesus is the opposite of that. And while I don't often focus on Jesus in my lives, I do focus on Judas a lot more. While I don't often focus on Jesus in my lives, I'm going to start doing that until we end Trumpism. Like, Jesus is the complete opposite of Antichrist Trump. And Jesus is the most powerful figure we have Jesus is probably the most power we have to oppose Trump. And really all it takes is us wielding that power, of us taking on the power of Jesus to destroy Trump. It's as simple as that. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. I mean, there's a little bit more complicated process for what we can do to replace all their churches, but just the very simple thing of Jesus ends Trumpism. Jesus is love and goodness and truth. Not the Jesus they tell you about, but the real Jesus is goodness and love and truth. And the Antichrist Jesus, the one they tell you about that's okay with Trump, is the Antichrist. He's lies and evil and everything bad. So Jesus wins, we win, the people win versus the Antichrist system, which is Trump. And we can start replacing this can replace any church anytime. I wrote a book about it and like 5 years ago, took it down to the Unitarian Church. I just don't think that the pastor read it. I don't think that she read the book. Otherwise, it would have already started there. So I need to, write a shorter book maybe. Is one thing I'm working on. Get it to more people. Or just make these lives. Now, it'll be encouraging to me when these lives get comments or audience or content or something like that. But Net and YouTube's not going to allow that. Thank you for the likes. You're doing probably the most revolutionary thing you could ever do. I don't know. Let me know if you do other revolutionary things. But we're overthrowing Trump here. We're not accepting anything less than the overthrow of Trump. And we might as well talk about consequences for the Trump-ootaniers, okay? Once we take charge, there's going to be probably executions. I'm not really a fan of executions, but some of them damn sure deserve it. Not necessarily trials. Some of them, the trial has been taking place. We could do a trial, but then again, Biden tried doing the trial stuff and he didn't lock Trump up nearly soon enough. So Stephen Miller, Trump, Elon Musk, these people's guilt is beyond any sort of defense, okay? They've also stopped people from having trials. So at least, let's do it this way. As many people as they've denied a trial, let's deny them a trial. But we'll start at the top. Trump, Alito, Clarence Thomas, Stephen Miller, they don't get trials, okay? If there's whatever it is, 70,000 people that they've kidnapped without trials, then we do 70,000 Trump-ootaniers don't get trials. The top 70,000 who are obvious, and we'll be able to find them if we have to dig into comments to find some more of them, because there's only 10,000 that are really, really prominent or something. But the top 70,000 that support Trump don't get trials, because I'm just throwing a number out there. We can just make it equal to the number of people that they denied trials. Those don't get trials. They get straight to the execution, deportation stage, whatever it is, for the crimes we accuse them of. I'm personally not such a fan of the death penalty. I said in the last Trump term that Trump should end the death penalty because the life he saves could be his own. Ending the death penalty will benefit you while you have the power in the death penalty, because otherwise you're subject to it. They're all traitors, okay? The ICE kidnappers get life in prison because that's the consequence for kidnapping in conjunction with other crimes. So the ICE people should be facing life in prison or execution for treason, okay? So we should be talking about execution for treason. We should be talking about life in prison for ICE. We should talk about deportation. We should talk about revoking citizenship. Again, we didn't revoke anybody's citizenship in America besides white people if they married immigrants, or white women white women if they married immigrants, or white women if they married people that people didn't like. We would take their citizenship away about 100 years ago, 150 years ago, something like that. It was a surprise to me, but there's very certain circumstances where we take people's citizenship away, but we really kind of quit doing it. There hasn't been a lot of people having their citizenship taken away in the last century, but we can start now because they wanted to open up that can of worms for babies who didn't do anything. They wanted to take their citizenship away. So we should say, okay, that's the precedent. You're not going to succeed at taking baby citizenship away, or if you do, we're going to give them their citizenship back. Just like we need a plan for automatic citizenship for everyone ICE contacts. Go ahead and give citizenship to everybody on their list. But we can take the citizenship away from the ICE kidnappers. We can take the citizenship away from the MAGA Trump-ootaniers. We can deport them to Siberia because they've chosen Siberia and they've chosen Russia over America. It's been very clear. They've all said Russia, 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 trying to act like it's a hoax, but it's not a hoax. They've chosen Russia over America. They're knocking down the White House, okay? A veteran will probably take umbrage at them knocking down the White House, and we probably won't have Trump much longer to beat around. So, point being, while they're knocking down they're either going to knock the whole thing down and they're going to succeed, and they're going to rub it in our faces that they're succeeding in destroying America because no one's stopping them, because they've knocked about half the White House down so far, okay? A veteran will probably get mad at that, and we won't have Trump anymore, okay? But they'll keep knocking the White House down unless we stop the entire regime. And anybody who stops Trump in any way, in any fashion whatsoever, is a hero. Now, stopping Trump for knocking down the White House, it's like, okay, so the concentration camps weren't enough to turn people against Trump. And the destroying our government, destroying our country wasn't enough to turn people against Trump. The Epstein files wasn't enough to turn enough people against Trump. Knocking down the White House will be, okay? Now, he's going to keep doing it. If he knocks down, my joke on the other live was, after he knocks down the White House, are we going to stop him when he chops down the Washington Monument? Like, he's going to destroy everything in America and about America until he's stopped. Why is he going to do that? Because that's what Putin wants. It's not difficult. Why does Adam Mockler tell you a lot of things that are bad about Trump, but the one thing he won't tell you is that Putin runs him? Because he's helping him do it, okay? All these people who get platforms, to get thousands of viewers, They're working for Putin too to satisfy some of your criticisms about Trump, but not the very most obvious one. He's destroying America for Putin. Okay, they're all protecting him. They're all protecting that plan. They're trying to soft land the destruction of America onto your phone. Do you like marshmallow? Do you like your marshmallows toasted? Who doesn't like toasted marshmallows? What world are we trying to be in here, YouTube? So silly. YouTube is like net and YouTube. I call it net and YouTube. We need to seize this platform. We need to, there we go. That's better. We need to seize this platform. We need to seize Google. We need to seize Facebook and Twitter too. When we redistribute that wealth, the people like Zuckerberg and Elon Musk wealth, we redistribute that wealth, we're going to fix a lot of problems. But we're also going to fix a lot of problems just by taking these platforms back. The same way they captured TikTok to make it Trump Talk, and they've captured YouTube to make it net and YouTube, and they've captured Facebook to make, well, they always had Facebook. Facebook has always been Facebook. Twitter has always been Twitter. It didn't get really worse with Elon Musk. It just came more out in the open. Twitter's always been like that. They were, trying to sell themselves to Elon Musk. Now, a funny thing is the Onion's going to buy InfoWars. The Onion's going to buy InfoWars and I guess make it into like a Stephen Colbert thing, like a Colbert Report thing. When Colbert used to be funnier, making fun of conservatives, he can still be funny sometimes. But yeah, we're going to defeat them with humor, and we're going to defeat them with Jesus. And that's the place where I'm probably the world expert on this. And, judge me how you like. But I'm probably the world expert on this. Probably because I understand Jesus, like the real Jesus, better than most people. I'm going to go ahead and say 99.99999% of people. And I've got the Gospel of Judas stuff. Jesus set Judas aside to replace all patriarchal Christianity. And I could be the only person in the world who's talking about that to the extent that it deserves to be talked about. I'm pretty sure I am. Now, I could be deluding myself because net and YouTube won't put me in contact with other people who talk about this. And even TikTok wouldn't put me in contact with other people who talk about this. Or other people just don't talk about this. I've seen other people try to talk about it. They don't have very much to say. They don't have the conclusions that are obvious from actually reading the text, the Gospel of Judas. Jesus replaces patriarchy Christianity. We're replacing all patriarchy Christianity, war, and Trumpism with the Church of Judas. So all different branches of Christianity that have all schismed and all happen to hate Judas. They all have that in common. For all the differences of all the different branches of Christianity, they all hate Judas. They've all expelled Judas or kept Judas out. So Judas is not responsible for all the evils of Christianity. So his church, now that it's being formed, or I opened up the Church of Judas, his church replaces all Christian churches. It replaces every Christian church that exists. So while they're burning down our libraries and burning down our schools and burning our books and burning down our government, we're taking and replacing their churches. And we're going to win. We can build our schools back. We shouldn't let them keep doing it. We can build the White House back. We shouldn't let them knock it down. But we are letting them knock it down. Nobody's stopping them. But what I'm doing is letting people know that even if you don't have a White House anymore, even if you found out that your leader Trump is the Antichrist, that doesn't mean you don't have Jesus anymore. That means you've cleared the path to the real Jesus, because these obstacles, these obstructions, these false Antichrist characters are out of your way. So I'm going to help shift people from Trump-Putin under the Antichrist to Jesus under love and truth. I'm going to use the power of Jesus, the Holy Spirit, the goddess, to help do this. I've previously, numerous occasions, extracted the curses from the Trump-Putin in comments. There's nobody in comments now, but I've extracted the curses from the Trump-Putin in comments and used them to curse Trump and Putin and Netanyahu with them. To curse Trump, Putin, Netanyahu with them. What do you call it? Not trilogy, Trinity, the Trinity of evil, the Antichrist Trinity, Trump, Putin, Netanyahu. But we have the real Trinity on our side, the goddess, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. And we have more than that too. We have all spirits, all good spirits on our side. I'll probably stop because this is in the bath and that YouTube's not finding anybody for it. But I wasn't finding any other really acceptable lives either. I found one that was pretty good where they were talking about the destruction of the White House. And they did seem to have some good audience. And I was pleasantly surprised that Net and YouTube, allowed me to see that. and allowed other people to see that. But it wasn't great. And I'm talking about doing the thing, like ending Trumpism. Um, and we can go ahead and talk about what the consequences for the Trumpers will be once it's ended. Execution for a lot of them. I don't think there's any way around that. That's what they deserve. Um, a trialless execution for a number of them, maybe 70, however many people they put in concentration camps. And speaking of which, the people that they've contacted should all get automatic citizenship. Everybody that they've kidnapped, everybody that they've hurt, everybody that they've killed should get compensation. But everybody that they've even contacted should get automatic citizenship. This is an idea that Net and YouTube's not going to want out there. I should probably just do a live where I just repeat that idea for an hour over and over again. Automatic citizenship for everyone ICE contacts. I did get that idea. I know that Park Rose Permaculture saw my comment to that effect and wrote a comment reply agreeing with it. I have not seen any of her content that promotes that in video form. It might just be because I missed that video, or she hasn't made one yet. But when somebody like that makes that comment, automatic citizenship for everyone ICE contacts, when someone with a platform that's not heavily suppressed, I mean for all MAGA. What for all MAGA? Not just ICE. But yeah, they filtered your first comment. So I don't know what you mean for all MAGA, not just ICE. But yeah, I agree with you. The MAGAs are all terrorist supporters. The ones that are doing the terrorism are worse, I guess, than the terrorist supporters. But the ones who support the terrorism are still terrorists. They're all traitors. They're all pedophiles. They're all Nazis. There's not a single one of them who's not a Nazi. They might think that they're not a Nazi because they're a fucking idiot. But in order to not be a Nazi, you have to break ranks with Trump. Shadow Typhoon says, bro, you are disgusting. Well, guess what? You're probably a Nazi and a pedophile. So again, being called disgusting by a Nazi pedophile who joined YouTube 12 years ago and has 1 subscriber and says things like this. In my live about the global Samud flotilla, Shadow Typhoon says, he needs to get off so he can talk to Mary Jane. Shadow Typhoon says, definitely proof. And Shadow Typhoon says, Medicanes are pretty neat. Medicanes are pretty, Medicanes, I guess like med beds or something. Shadow Typhoon says, prove yourself a fascist. Shadow Typhoon, this is in Puffin is Live. Those last ones are for the Global Samud Flotilla Live. This one is from the Puffin is Live on October 2nd. Prove yourself a fascist. Mute me, silence me like the KGB in brown and black shirts. Like you're really complaining about the KGB. If you're willing to complain about the KGB, stick around in live and complain about the KGB right now. Shadow Typhoon said, he gets mid when called out. And then Shadow Typhoon in Kirk's Killer Cans Kimmel. I did a live called Kirk's Killer Cans Kimmel. And Shadow Typhoon said, get off the weed, Nazi. So he's projecting him being a Nazi. He knows he's a Nazi. Pot-induced opinions. Called it. Check out the Peace Pipe Party. In my live, Timu, KGB, FBI lies about Tyler Robinson and roommate, Shadow Typhoon said, what did you call the killing of MLK? Shadow Typhoon said, it seems you're only basically going to say no, that's wrong to anything you disagree with. Any debate or exchange or ideas with you is pointless if you're only going to call the opposition Nazis. But you are Nazis. If you're not owning up that you're Nazis, then it's pretty impossible to have a conversation with you because you don't even know what you are. Shadow Typhoon said, I know quite a few gay and trans people. They shit post like that literally all the time. So you don't know them. You just, Fashbook, I guess, puts them on your feed. In Save USA from September 16th, 2025, Shadow Typhoon said, regardless, I gave you my answer. Respectfully, would you answer the question, what is your definition of Nazi without using the word Nazi or naming individuals? Because what did I do? I told you Trump is a Nazi. Putin is a Nazi. Netanyahu is a Nazi. What did I tell you? Something that anybody else not only can tell you, but has been telling you for months. Shadow Typhoon says, refreshing the South to secede was that started the Civil War. Emancipation came later. So he's one of those, the South, it wasn't about slavery. He's one of those Civil War types. Shadow Typhoon said, Southern states were providing the majority of tax revenues to the United States government. So it's not about slavery, it's about taxes, according to the Nazis. Stop Trump and Putin's Civil War and World War III from, I don't see the date on it. But Shadow Typhoon said, if you have to repeatedly say, I'm not a Nazi, you're probably a Nazi. Well, guess what? You never say, I'm not a Nazi. You say, what's your definition of a Nazi? When you're a goddamn Nazi and you know you are. That's not the definition. Running from questions. So what's your questions now? I guess I live rent free in this guy's head. No, that's not a joke that even it applied to random people before AOC. Then it became an AOC joke. AOC lives rent free in your heads. That's the joke. That's the joke. You can't just turn it around to someone else, a landlord living rent free in your head. It's a landlord. AOC living rent free in your head as a barista who has to pay rent. That's a joke. You guys don't understand jokes. You can't make jokes. You can't just repurpose and reverse jokes. We can reverse the things you say and get to the truth because you're always going to spew anti-Trump bullshit. Oh yeah, the capital punishment. I think we can say capital punishment. We can say execution. I mean, it's not TikTok. We can say capital punishment. We can say the punishment for treason is execution. Shadow Typhoon says, Mediterranean hurricanes, you idiot. Mediterranean hurricanes, you idiot. How is that supposed to be an argument? The fuck are you, Shadow Typhoon? Shadow Typhoon says, I guess I live rent free in this guy's head. No, what happened there? I didn't just recall all the comments you've made over the past 5 months of lives. I can click your profile. I can look at all the messages you've said in my lives. That's all that happened. You don't live anywhere. You're a zombie. You're a zombie. You're a not Zionist. Like, you don't live anywhere. You're not alive. You're an undead, brainwashed zombie creature. Like a bot, a mechanical bot, an algorithm would be more interesting, have more life than you, be more conscious than you, have less of Putin's willpower than you have. A bot would be something we could talk to. You're a Trumper, you're a troll. No, I don't really project. If I was projecting on you, I'd be like, damn, you're really hot, but you're not. You're the one who's disgusting. Come in here calling me disgusting, and you're the one who's disgusting. So instead of projection, you could have said introspection. The only thing you guys are useful for is to reverse what you're saying. The reverse of what you're saying is always true, okay? So you're a Nazi, you're a pedophile, you're a traitor, you're a terrorist. Say you're not. And right now we're going to know it's true, that it's true, but deny it. Go ahead and deny it. We'll see how that works for you. Deny that you're a Nazi or a pedophile or a traitor. See, you can't do it. You cannot do it. You cannot deny that you're a Nazi and a pedophile and a traitor. But we all know because you support Trump. Like, that's clear. All Trump supporters are Nazis and pedophiles and traitors. I was calling for summary execution. What did I say? Summary. What's summary execution? I'm talking about what's the penalty for treason, traitor? Execution. What's summary execution? Does summary refer to without trials? Well, guess what? You guys haven't been giving people trials. So you don't really care about trials, do you? You don't really need trials. You don't really deserve trials, do you? I'm not afraid of giving you trials. It would be far more embarrassing to give you trials. But that's also not necessary. Everybody knows you're guilty. You're proving you're guilty here. You don't have to say you're not a Nazi or a pedophile or a traitor. You don't have to, but you also cannot do it. You cannot prove to me that you're not a Nazi and a pedophile and traitor just by saying you're, and I won't believe you. If you manage to type the words, I am not a Nazi, I won't believe you. If you manage to type the words, I am not a pedophile, I won't believe you because you are a Nazi and you are a pedophile, but you can't even do it. You can't even try. You're afraid it will take. You're afraid if you type into a comment section, I am not a Nazi, that your Nazism might wear off, or that one of your Nazi buddies, there's only 2 other people in this live, but somebody who sees it in the future might track you down for betraying the cause. So what's the point? Say you're not a Nazi. Do that much. I still won't believe you, but at least maybe you'll believe you, but you won't because you know you're lying. That's the whole point. You know that Trump's a Nazi. You know that you're a Nazi. You know that Trump's a pedophile, and that makes you a pedophile. You know that Trump's a traitor. You're destroying the White House. That means you're a traitor. You're destroying the White House. If someone who can't get to Trump gets to you instead, what's that? What's that? Is that justice? What is that? What are you looking for? Okay? Because you didn't come to this live to leave as a Trump-ooneer. You can either be shifted from the Antichrist Trump to Jesus. You can be shifted from the right to the left. Or you may have lost your soul. You may have lost your life. You should lose your home and your fucking place. If you're in this country, you shouldn't be. Okay? You should be deported because you're supporting deporters. That should be all of y'all. And we're not going to miss you. 2 camps in Siberia. Separate camps. Guess what the 2 camps are for? What do you guys believe there's 2 of and only 2 of? Guess what the 2 camps are for? Guess who doesn't get to visit between the 2 camps? Guess who gets to remove you guys from fucking humanity? Yeah, you're a curse. You're an infection on humanity. Nazism is an infection on humanity, and it should be removed. Net and YouTube will protect you. You know, Facebook and Twitter will protect you. All these companies will protect you. But I got Jesus on my side. I'm going above all y'all's heads, and I'm destroying all you motherfuckers. Okay? We're putting you down. We're putting you down like Kristi Noem's pup. Okay? That's what you get. We're putting Putin's puppies in the pound, and you're all Putin's puppies. Okay? And we're putting some of you down. Like, I don't know how many ICE agents have been killed so far. I think it's still 0. But that number is getting ready to shoot right up. Cops are ready to use their qualified immunity. You've pushed cops about to the point where they're ready to use their qualified immunity on y'all. They could just arrest you. But again, not necessary. Absolutely not necessary. Anyone obeying Trump has revealed themselves as a traitor. It's like they're wearing a traitor target shirt on their head. What do I mean destroy or putting down? What did Kristi Noem do to her dog? Put you down. Okay? I'm just saying, this is the law. Like, the law is execution for treason. Okay? Yeah, there should be due process, but you guys want to skip that stage. So, skip that stage. We know who the traitors are. The traitors are Trump. Who's knocking down the White House right now? Trump. So who are the traitors? Trump, Stephen Miller, Alito, Thomas, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, Amy Comrade Barrett. She might betray the traitors. Political violence. Am I advocating for political violence? No. I'm advocating to end Nazism. Okay? You're really offended. Instead of being someone who can join in the advocation of ending Nazism, you're really offended. Guess what that makes you? A goddamn Nazi. Okay? So, should we just block you? Should we block your account? Or should we let you reveal that all Trump-ooneers are Nazis? Let's do that. Let's let you reveal, let you be the proof that you're a Nazi, that all Trump-ooneers are Nazis, the fact that you're a Nazi and all Trump-ooneers are Nazis, and that you're a pedophile and all Trump-ooneers are pedophiles, and you're a traitor and all Trump-ooneers are traitor. Besides, I skipped your comments about hating Nazis. You didn't leave any comments about hating Nazis. Let's reread all your comments right now. Bro, you were disgusting. Mediterranean hurricanes, you idiot. I guess I have rent-free, and I guess I live rent-free in this guy's head. Projection. You were calling summary execution. That's disgusting. I don't have to. So what's the point? What do you mean by the story you're putting down? So you're advocating for political violence. Also, I noticed you skipped my comment about hating Nazis. You didn't make a comment about hating Nazis. Make it again. Say it again. Say you hate Nazis. Say you hate Trump. Say you hate Putin. Say you hate your fellow Klansmen. Say it. Say it in live. Say you hate pedophiles. That's not a radical take. Say you hate pedophiles. I dare you. Say you hate pedophiles. You're going to be afraid of offending Trump, aren't you? You're afraid of offending your master. You can't say you hate pedophiles. You can't say the decent human thing that you hate pedophiles because you're afraid of offending your master. Okay, this one was held for review. I hate pedophiles. Wow. So you hate Trump. You hate yourself for supporting Trump. Now we're making progress. Now that you're admitting you hate pedophiles, now that you're coming around, you've grown into hating pedophiles, because 3 seconds ago you were fine with it. 3 seconds ago you loved Trump and his pedophilia. You had to protect Trump and his pedophilia. But now you're starting to shift. All right, you hate pedophiles. I saw that. I mean, Net and YouTube blocked it to protect pedophiles. Your team blocked it to protect pedophiles, but you said it. I read it. I tried to show it. I don't know if it's showing or not, but I tried to show it for the record. Speaking of for the record, you know that hunting Nazis is a noble profession. People can hunt Nazis, like 20-year-old people can go down and hunt down a 98-year-old Nazi. And when they catch that Nazi, like in Argentina or some shit, when they catch that, or they, in Vegas or something, when they catch that Nazi, everybody cheers. They're like, yeah, 20, like when that kid stole that Nazi's glasses. I wasn't really cheering because I don't support violence, and stealing that guy's glasses is a form of violence. But that guy was being violent to begin with, and he almost got killed. Fuck it. Shadow Typhoon says, I think the Nazis comment is being blocked. Well, that one came through just fine with no filtering. I think my comments are being blocked. Yeah, they probably are. But can you find a way to say that you dislike Nazis? I can find a way you can say it. You can say, I don't like Trump. But you do like Trump, don't you? I mean, I'm glad if you think you're against Nazis. The problem is you're a goddamn Nazi. Okay? You support Trump, you're a Nazi. It's great that you say you hate pedophiles, but you're a pedophile because you support Trump, who's a pedophile. It's real simple. How do you feel about knocking down the White House? You're probably happy about it. But if you're supporting Trump, you're knocking down the White House. Nazis are disgusting bastards Trump is a disgusting bastard that I hate. Trump is a disgusting bastard that I hate. Yeah. Everybody hates Trump. Everybody hates Trump's followers. No, Trump is a Nazi. Okay? You're trying to be cool and be like you're better than a Nazi. No sympathy for Trump boutonnieres. Exactly. No sympathy for Trump boutonnieres. No, I have no sympathy for. You probably typed Nazi next. YouTube probably blocked it without even giving me a chance to think, because YouTube protects Nazis. Okay? YouTube is a Nazi platform. It's like a giant Nazi terrorist cell here. Anything that allows MAGA lies to proliferate or genocide to proliferate is a Nazi terrorist cell. We can still work within this platform and fix things, but probably the best thing to fix right now is you. Okay? Because I believe you that you really want to be against Nazis. You probably remember that your grandparents, if you're American, your grandparents probably fought against the Nazis in World War II, or your great-grandparents probably fought against the Nazis in World War II. So in order to respect those grandparents, is Nazi a block term? Well, look at it this way. You just put, is Nazi a block term? And that came through just fine. So you can obviously say Nazi in a sentence. But when you were trying to do the type one word thing and you just said Nazi, then it might seem like you're calling me a Nazi and they might block that. Whatever. But Net and YouTube is protecting Nazis. Someone in my live said people should better themselves, and Net and YouTube blocked it. Because who are the very worst people on the planet? Trump boutonnieres, because they're Nazis and they're pedophiles and they're traitors. So everybody should probably better themselves. But if the Trump boutonnieres, the very worst people that have ever lived, if they better themselves, then there wouldn't be any Trump boutonnieres left. So Netanyahu has to block that comment to protect people from bettering themselves. So they protect their class of the worst people who ever lived, the Nazis. The Trump boutonnieres. Trump boutonnieres are Nazis, but they're worse because they're all pedophiles. Okay? All the Nazis weren't necessarily pedophiles, but all Trump boutonnieres are, because we all know Trump is a pedophile, and if you continue to protect him, you're protecting pedophiles. And everybody's called you out to that point. Like, our congressmen have stood on national TV saying Mike Johnson is protecting pedophiles. The reason Mike Johnson is doing this is to protect pedophiles. Mike Johnson is protecting pedophiles. They've drilled that home. Anybody denying it is just a pedophile. Okay, your family was actually fighting in the Pacific in World War II, arguably a harder fight. Well, however hard they fought, they were fighting against an axis of Nazi powers. Okay, they were fighting against the Nazi alliance with the Japanese, imperialist, supremacist things. But what are you now? You're an imperialist and a supremacist because you support Trump. So you've betrayed your grandparents, okay? Maybe your grandparents, maybe your family's not around anymore to tell you. That's why you're here now, okay? Jesus has guided you and me together so that I can speak on behalf of your dead family who you are betraying by supporting Trump. You're betraying this country by supporting Trump. You're betraying Jesus by supporting Trump. You're betraying your family by supporting Trump. You're betraying democracy by supporting Trump. You're betraying humanity and Earth by supporting Trump. Dude, I can tell you support Trump. Okay, when did I ever say I support Trump? Okay, so if you're trying to be some type of edgelord who's too cool for it, that's still supporting Trump. You don't get it. Okay, when the Nazis in Germany were being Nazis in Germany, and some people were opposing them, and some people were trying to stand out of the way. If the people who were trying to stand out of the way were helping the people to oppose him, you could have stopped the Nazis in Germany. So if you're claiming to stand out of the way, I see you as a goddamn Nazi, because I'm sitting here telling you that when your family fought the Nazis, but you can't be bothered to fight goddamn Trump, you're a goddamn Nazi. Okay? You're a Nazi of inactivity. You're a Nazi of just trolling the internet. It's pathetic. It's sad. I feel sorry for you as a human being. Like the human being that you are underneath your Nazification, I feel sorry for that human being. I don't feel sorry for your Nazi ass, though, because that's what you are. I'm glad I called you that. You need to wake the fuck up. And the best you can do now is claim you never said you supported Trump. You don't have to support Trump. You arguing with me, you're supporting Trump. Because all I'm sitting here doing on this live is saying Trump is the Antichrist. Jesus is a very good victor to defeat the Antichrist. Take Jesus, take Marx, take heart, take hope. That's a catchphrase from the House Martins album. Take Marx, take Jesus, take hope, or something like that. Anyway, and that album is from the 1980s, so this isn't new information. Okay, Jesus is Antifa. Jesus is anti-fascist. Jesus is against the fascist Nazis. Jesus is against war. Jesus is against Trump. Jesus is against Trumpism. Yeah, nothing wrong with Marx, dude. There's nothing wrong with communism. Jesus is communist. Like, get the fuck over it. Okay, you've been lied to. Okay, Trump's taking advantage. Trump and Putin are taking advantage of you. How do you feel about Trump knocking down the White House? Let's just do that. Let's just do the fluff of the day. Trump's knocking down the White House. How do you feel about it? Steve, what's your question? Just one question. Why? Why what? One question. Why what? How do you feel about Trump knocking down the White House? That's my question to you. What's your thoughts on Trump knocking down the White House? You're going to make an excuse for it, or are you going to say he probably shouldn't knock down the White House? It's real simple. You said you didn't ever say you support Trump. So let's find out now. How do you feel about Trump knocking down the White House? What's your take on Trump knocking down the White House? Let's find out. What's your take on knocking down the White House? Why are you asking a goddamn question, dude? You cannot be in this live. You are not fucking allowed. Trump's knocking down the goddamn White House. You haven't heard about that? You're in such a goddamn Trump-near Nazi silo that you don't know Trump's knocking down the damn White House? You fucking idiot. Fuck you. You fucking traitor piece of shit. Go look at the fuck up and come back to the live or never come back again. We don't need you goddamn Nazis. Why haven't you heard that Trump's knocking down the White House? How can you be so fucking stupid? He's been doing it for 3 days. He's knocked down half of it. You dumb shit. Get the fuck off my live. Fuck you. Fucking Nazi piece of shit. Quit playing goddamn dumb. Educate your fucking self. Wake the fuck up. You came in here without knowing that Trump's knocking down the White House and you're bitching at me about talking shit about Trump? Fuck you. You work long hours. Fuck you. What are you being in my life for 30 minutes for if you work long hours? Go fucking please yourself. Go look up that Trump is knocking down the goddamn White House and come back, you traitorous, pedo, Nazi piece of shit. Don't say a goddamn, I know you're a Nazi and a pedo and a traitor. Go look up that Trump is knocking down the White House and then come back and tell me how you feel. Don't say another goddamn thing. Fuck you. God damn it. How can these motherfuckers be so stupid? Trump is knocking down the White House. Is that all I need to say? I thought I was dumbing it down to say Jesus is against the Antichrist Trump. Trump's knocking down the White House. Hey, you stupid idiots. Trump's knocking down the White House. Guess what? Trump's knocking down the White House, you dumbass fucks. Trump's knocking down the White House. Did you not know? You've been living under a rock? Do you work live? East Wing demolished? That's it? Fuck you! God damn you piece of shit. You looked it up and now you're still coming back making excuses for Trump? Fuck you, you Nazi piece of shit. You knew it the whole goddamn time. You're playing stupid because you're a goddamn Nazi. I always knew you were a Nazi. You're a fucking Groyper, I bet. I bet you're the worst kind of Nazi. Fucking Groyper. Anyway, sorry for my outburst. We had a Nazi pedophile traitor in chat trying to play stupid. And it's like, when you're already stupid and you try to play stupid, it gets to whole new levels of stupid. But Trump knocking down the White House, why'd you say that it? That's the story, that he demolished the east wing of the White House. And it looks like he's knocking down the whole thing. And you're not going to stop him. You're going to argue with the person who's trying to stop him because you're a Nazi. This makes you, this is, everything you're saying is confirming that you're a Nazi and a pedophile and a traitor. And that's a great cautionary example for other people to know that we're going to hunt you down for the rest of your lives, which hopefully won't be long. Fuck you, you fucking Nazi pieces of shit. Anyway, does anybody else not know that Trump's knocking down the White House? Does anybody else not know that Trump's destroying USA for Putin? Is anybody else that far down on the learning curve? Have you not heard that Trump's knocking on the White House, that Trump's destroying USA for Putin? This is all news to you. I'm gonna have to shut down the live. This is just like, this is pathetic. Net and YouTube is the biggest piece of trash. We need to seize this company and fire all the fucking people who are organizing it. That's Google. We need to fire all the people who run Google, or arrest all the people who run Google. Like, it is treason. Like, the people running Google who are picking these goddamn Nazis for my live, that's treason too. That's part of the treason. Brightleaf, another fucking Nazi. Oh wait, Brightleaf. Are you the Nazi? No, sorry, there's somebody else with a name similar to yours, Brightleaf. Are you the Nazi? Remind me, Brightleaf, are you the Nazi MAGA Trump Putin pedophile? Shadow Typhoon's gonna play stupid again. I was asking to confirm, dude. Why would you ask me to confirm? I'm the one who told you in the first place Trump's knocking down the White House. Then your dumbass went and looked it up, and you're trying to play stupid. Stop playing goddamn stupid. It's time to wise the fuck up now. Trump's a goddamn Nazi, and that makes you a goddamn Nazi. Stop being a goddamn Nazi. Why are you jumping to the conclusion that I was meaning it in a negative way? Because what you typed was East Wing demolished, that it? Which maybe I misread and thought you said that's it. Like, that's all? All he destroyed was the East Wing. That's okay. Let's make excuses for Trump. Guess what he's destroying next? The West Wing. And guess what he's destroying after that? The iconic centerpiece. And guess what he's destroying after that? The rest of America. And you're helping because you're a traitor. Your grandparents sent me to tell you you're a fucking traitor. Wake the fuck up. Get the fuck out of bed, you lazy piece of shit. Brightleaf is the Nazi pedophile. Okay, Brightleaf is the Nazi pedophile. Congrats on 4 subs, dude. 4 subs isn't shit. 4,000 subs isn't shit. Look how many of you are goddamn Nazis. I don't want y'all subbing my channel. Get the fuck out. I don't want you in my country. I want you on my planet. Fuck you, Nazi pedophile pieces of shit. Shadow Typhoon, why are we gonna say bro chill? You're a Nazi and a pedophile. You're too stupid to realize it. I'm trying to help you, and you're fucking slapping my hand away. Fuck you. You're slapping Jesus away when Jesus is trying to help you out of being a goddamn Nazi pedophile, Antichrist, terrorist piece of shit. Traitor. Trying to save your life, literally. Trying to save you from the course of action that will get you executed as a traitor. And you don't give a fuck because your life is so pathetic, so miserable. All you do is troll on the internet. Time to do something better than that, you goddamn Nazi pedophile traitor piece of shit. Okay, so Tabby is another Nazi pedophile traitor, unless you're talking about the other guy. Yeah, the other guy has no clue what the fuck he's talking about. But I know that they're tearing down the White House. Dumbasses in here don't know that yet because they've been in a Putin-created silo, information silo, that keeps them from seeing anything negative about Trump. But Trump's knocking down the goddamn White House, and you're helping him. You can retract your congrats. Good, Brightleaf. I don't want anything good for you. I don't want anything you think is good. You're a goddamn Nazi and a pedophile. We're the opposite. You can say something nice to me, or we could like connect or something once you stop being a Nazi. But as long as you're a Nazi pedophile, fuck you, dude. I hope you don't live any longer. I really don't want you to be around at all. Okay? You're a poison. I don't want a fucking poison. Shadow Typhoon says, is it about the ballroom thing? Okay, people playing stupid. I'm not playing anymore. Brightleaf says, see, I was in mixed minds about subbing. Nobody wants your sub. Your sub will give Net and YouTube the excuse to show this channel to more Nazis. I do not want you here. I do not like you, Sam I Am. You're a terrible, terrible person. Okay, you're a Nazi and a pedophile. No one wants you. Everyone will be happier when you stop being a Nazi and a pedophile. You don't have to not breathe anymore to be a Nazi and a pedophile, but you can stop being a goddamn Nazi and a pedophile. And until then, no one will want you or like you. Thanks, Outlaw. I mean, it's going okay. Trump's knocked down half the White House so far. This dipshit just found out about it from me and then came back and tried to make excuses for Trump. I think Yvette will probably shoot him over it. I mean, the concentration camps weren't enough to turn people against Trump. The fucking destroying our government wasn't enough to destroy people against Trump. The stealing all our money wasn't enough to turn people against Trump. The trying to hijack and end democracy wasn't enough to turn people against Trump. But knocking down the White House might just be enough. Pooping on us, his AI fantasy about pooping on us all from a plane, about carpet bombing us all with poop, that wasn't enough to turn people against Trump. But knocking down the White House will turn enough vets against Trump that one of them will get a clean shot. Okay, let's read Brightleaf's Nazi pedophile comment. Nazi pedophile traitor Trump Near Brightleaf says, let's get Nazi pedophile traitor Trump Near Brightleaf's channel activity. Joined 12 years ago, 0 subscribers, typical for Trump Nears. Brightleaf, the Nazi pedophile Trump Near traitor says, I was in mixed minds about subbing. On the one hand, I didn't want to miss it live. On the other hand, I didn't want to add to your sub count as it's so important. No, it's just you have no subs because you have no content, because no one should follow a Nazi pedophile Trump Near, and that includes no one should follow Trump. Brightleaf says, I guess I won't sub then. Good. Actually, never come back. Actually, never be on the internet again. Actually, never talk to anyone as long as you're a goddamn Nazi and a pedophile. No one wants you around. No one will ever miss you. Brightleaf says, your 4K subs is bad and not worth congratulations. I don't like most of those subs because they're Nazis like you. I would rather have 3 subs and 0 Nazis than 3,997 Nazis subbing to my channel and 3 good people. Outlaw says, how's it going today? Good to see you. Good to see you too, Outlaw. Brightleaf says, why the horse shampoo? Because he's a Nazi. It's a Ukraine reference to trigger you fucking Nazi Trump Putiners. Shadow Typhoon says, what I'm seeing is there is building a ballroom and it does require knocking the walls. Personally, I don't think a ballroom is necessary and spending that money during a shutdown is bad look. Brightleaf, the Nazi pedophile Trump Putinir says, I'm sorry, this stream is a bit like crack. I can't help myself. Stream. You know what it is? It's that Jesus is trying to reach you. You're trying to get saved by Jesus. Jesus cares enough about the baby that you once were before you became a Nazi. Jesus cares enough about that baby to rescue you and give you a chance at a life outside of Nazi Trumpism. That's what's going on here. Jesus cares enough about you to rescue. I don't give a fuck. I could give a fuck if you never breathe another fucking word in your life. You never type shit. But Jesus cares enough to save you from Trumpism. So I'm going to, as a favor to Jesus, I'm going to do it. I'll save you from Trumpism. And I'll be glad to have done it. I think it'll be a good thing to save you from Trumpism. You're welcome. I might not do it this time because you seem to be pretty set on being a Nazi. 502 Outlaw says, sorry for the trolls. They just don't understand. I mean, these are actual humans. These aren't even bots. These are humans. This is pathetic. Yes, leading to salvation. Okay. Jesus is the anti-king leader of no kings. Jesus is the organizer of Antifa. All the things they say about George Soros, what they mean is Jesus, okay? So the person that you've been told to be scared of is your savior, Jesus. Yeah, I'm a person, okay? Brightleaf confirms he's a person. Okay, so you have a human heart. You have a human history as a baby who was innocent, who didn't believe all this MAGA bullshit. Jesus can help reset you so that you can live a life free of the MAGA bullshit. Jesus can save you from the Antichrist Trump. In fact, one of Jesus' greatest purposes is to save you from Antichrist Trump. Trump's the Antichrist. He's the exact opposite of Jesus. So all you got to do is just start reversing your thoughts, start reversing your beliefs, start believing the opposite of what you used to believe. And there you go, Jesus. Jesus is waiting for you to consider. What's the one thing you question Trump the most on? Somebody else questioned him on the bad look. Shadow Typhoon questioned him on a bad look of destroying the White House during a shutdown. Spending the money to destroy the White House. Doesn't really mind about destroying the White House because he's so deep in the Trumpism. But spending the money during a shutdown looks bad. So you're starting to see through Trump based on financial stuff. And that's not a very good, strong thing. If you're like fine with the concentration camps and you're fine with knocking down the White House and you're fine with destroying the government and you're fine with no trials for anybody. Okay, Brightleaf says, won't Jesus disapprove of you dismantling the Christian church? No, Jesus is the one whose plan it is to dismantle the Christian church. Look at it this way. You start something. You start a club. And then bad people take over that club and turn it into a hate organization. What would you do? You would dismantle that hate organization and make it the club that you wanted it to be. That's all Jesus is doing. Jesus started this thing that he knew in advance. He knew before they even crucified him. Jesus knew that the religion he started would be used to make empires and war and boarding schools and all this bullshit. Jesus knew that. And he had a plan to reverse it at this time. That plan is Judas. Check out the Church of Judas. No Church of Jesus, Church of Judas. Church of Judas is the Church of Judas. It's Christianity final form. It's the opposite of a lot of what Christianity used to be and has been up to this point. It's the opposite of it. Oh, that's cool, Chris. I'm not going to be live much longer. I'm already almost at the hour-long limit, and I've been in the bath the whole time, so probably should actually take a bath. But I just had to go live because some people are talking about him knocking down the White House. These idiots hadn't heard it before. But Trump's knocking down the White House, and it's a symbol of him knocking down, of him destroying America. And he's doing it in our faces. He's rubbing it in our faces, and you're letting him do it. So everybody who's letting him do it is helping him knock down the White House. Everybody who's letting him do it is helping him destroy America. Wait, please, what, Brightleaf? I mean, I've got 3 more minutes. I've got 3 or 5 more minutes. Let's get right to it. Okay, the horse shampoo. I told you the answer to the goddamn horse shampoo. If you're not asking about Jesus, you're not ready for this, okay? You're not ready for this. Maybe next live, maybe never. I don't care. I hope to never see you again. You see what I'm saying? I hope that you have an accident, okay? I do not want you around. If you come back, I'll save you. But I'm not going to, I keep sticking out my hand for you to fucking stab it. Fuck you. Keep sticking out my hand for you to stab it with 9-inch nails. Fuck you. What's Shadow's question? There's no Shadow. What do you do for a living? No, I don't need you to leave. I can shut down the live. I'm saving you at your asses from Trump. I'm saving you from fucking death and destruction. And your lives suck so bad that you don't want that. I want to detangle your curls, Carissa. I want to detangle your curls with my magic fingers. I mean, you say you'll return, but maybe this is the last time we'll ever talk. Maybe this is the last time you'll ever have a chance to talk to me, and you're wasting it being a dumbass. You won't return like Palpatine, but at least you know you're on the Sith side. At least you know Trump's a Nazi. You haven't admitted it, but you know Trump's a Nazi. See, she would love that. She would love for me to detangle her. See, that's the thing. Is when I said it, you thought it was creepy because if you said it to someone, it would be creepy. But I can say it to Carissa because I would like to detangle her and she would like me to detangle her hair. That's the benefit of being humans who accept love and affection and things like that instead of being Nazi pedophiles who only do non-consensual things because you're, oh, did I mention you're rapists? You're Nazi pedophile rapists. Stop. Brightly says, I'm Darth Maul's toy boy. So at least you know you're Sith and at least you know you're gay. Be more openly gay. Be less Sith. Become Jedi. And we can be friends. I could probably help you hook up with somebody, you dumbass. You probably Demetrius Antoine. Demetrius Antoine, do you like put your face under the water? Okay. You know, like that was probably the only non-Nazi thing you've ever said to me, Demetrius Antoine. That's probably the only non-Klan thing you've ever said to me. So I want to encourage you. Every wink of wokeness from a Trump-Putineer should be celebrated and encouraged to make you more woke. We're going to shift you from the Antichrist Trump to Jesus and love and truth. You're welcome. Thanks, Jesus. Brightleaf said, I'm Darth Maul's toy boy, right? You're gay, Sith. Just be gay, but be Jedi. And then you'll be fine. You'll be a leftist. You'll be with Jesus. It'll be great. My work here is done. You're welcome. Head pat, Brightleaf. So he's congratulating you for being a Sith toy boy, but just be a fucking Jedi toy boy like Qui-Gon Jinn's toy boy instead, and then you won't be evil. Like, it's really simple. Just stop being evil. Shift from the Antichrist Trump, who you support, to the true Jesus. You can't be gray Jedi Sith. That's not a thing. You can't be gray Jedi Sith. Who's supposed to be that? No, I'm not going to wash my hair. This is just a prop. You can like Darth Maul spikes. I mean, that's cool. Liking Darth Maul spikes is cool. Like Darth Vader has a cool aesthetic that people appreciate. But being a Sith, but guess what? Darth Vader also did. Betrayed the goddamn Emperor and killed him. I'm not saying you should go kill Trump. I'm just saying fuck Trump. And you should say fuck Trump too. Just become a Jedi. Stop being an idiot. Demetrius, go wash yourself. Comforting Brightleaf after you be mean. I haven't been mean to him. I haven't done shit to y'all. Who's been mean to you guys is your masters, Putin and Trump and Netanyahu. They're the ones taking advantage of you and being mean to you. And since you're all here, I'm going to go ahead and use you for a good purpose. I'm extracting the curses from Demetrius and Brightleaf and Shadow Typhoon, and I'm cursing Netanyahu with them. I'm extracting the curses from the Trump Putineers in comments, and I'm cursing Trump with them. And last time we did this, he lost a bishop. I'm extracting the curses from the Trump Putineers in comments, and I'm cursing Putin with them. And last time we did that, he lost a meeting with Trump. Oh, you have a master. Your masters are Putin and Trump and J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance would fuck you like a couch. He would rape you like a couch if he had the chance. Light some sage and put it up. That's a good idea. He's regularly mean to you. Oh, boo-hoo, poor Nazis. Who will think of the pedophiles? You guys should be fucking slapped. You should have a wake-up slap. Okay. Yeah, there's things we can't agree on. These people, being humans, could become more human. We could make Trump Putineers American again. We could make Trump Putineers human again. We can make Trump Putineers good people again. But in the meantime, y'all don't even deserve natural substances. I'll be live all the time, dude. I'll be live until Trump's gone. You can help or you can hurt. You've been hurting so far. So far, you're in the category of people who should be hunted down for supporting Trump. So stop being that. Stop being an Antichrist loser. Stop being a fascist and a pedophile and a Nazi. I don't have 5 minutes left of the live, Demetrius. Sorry. I already fulfilled your request once. I've got 1 minute left. You're not here for the ride. You're here to be repurposed into a human again from a Trump Putineer zombie. You're welcome. And in the meantime, I'm extracting your curses and I'm cursing Putin with them. I'm extracting your curses and I'm cursing Trump with them. I'm extracting your curses and I'm cursing Netanyahu with them. And you're welcome. Sorry, Carissa. Maybe we can talk on another platform. I wasn't able to get back on Facebook. Yeah, Ukraine should defeat Putin and we should carve Russia up into 3 countries. Ukraine can annex 1/3 of it. Turkey can annex 1/3 of it and China can annex 1/3 of it. How do you like that? We can do the same in America. We can let Canada annex half of USA and we can have Mexico annex the other half of USA. We can do the same thing for Israel. We can let West Bank annex half of Israel and Gaza annex the other half of Israel. Or we can let, Syria and Lebanon and others take a piece. How do you like that idea? You like it? What do you mean, what the heck? Do you like that idea or not? What's your problem? What do we do to Germany? We split it in 2. And we let it get back together. Probably bad idea. Maybe we should. Yeah, we can do that. You can't. Oh, I'm more American than you. I'm 100 times more American than you. I'll see this motherfucker out.